Food for the Hungry is a relief and development organization that began in 1971. And we do relief and development, which some people think that's really synonymous, but it's very different. In the sense of relief, it's all about expediency, no questions asked. It's about delivery of food, water, medicine, shelter, with the reality that somebody's going to die at the end of the day if there's not help given. Development is much different in that we walk with individuals and communities, and the idea of development, some people have heard the old adage, you can give a person a fish, he eats for a day, teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So the idea of development is to help communities develop to the point where they can care for themselves, they can care for their own needs, they can realize the potential that God has given them, their gifts, their talents, whatever their assets are, that they can solve their own problems.
I recently have learned that Food for the Hungry innovates charity, and so their approach, which is not just to give, but to make it sustainable. So when they go into a remote part of the world, their approach is first, God-driven and based on values that'll last forever. So instead of just giving, they give and teach, but mostly they inspire people to be innovators. And once you do that, they will innovate and take care of themselves, and they stay there till they create innovators. And I think that it's the first time I've heard about it, and it's a phenomenal approach.
Food for the Hungry is about transformation. We have a sense of optimism that we can go into poor communities and we can bring change. We have an amazing team of heroes, experts, people who are willing to take risks, and they go to the hardest places and they figure out what the obstacles are, the obstacles that are preventing people from being all that God intended them to be. And then they develop strategies to help farmers provide for their family, to help communities provide health care for their kids, to provide education, to provide a sense of hope for the future.
Food for the Hungry works in 28 countries right now around the world. We have a staff of about 2,000 people, and 90% of those people are nationals, meaning that they are working in the country that they were born in. We feel it's very important that we develop leadership in the countries that we're working in, and so it's really critical to hire nationals. Plus, it's very efficient. They already know the language, they know the culture, and they can expedite the process of engaging in relationship. And that's how we have built that model to work with communities and leaders in those kinds of situations.
I've worked for 11 years in Bangladesh as country director, managing the 200 staff, 200 national Bangladeshi staff that we have in that country, keeping them focused on our vision and developing the family and community transformation program that we have in Bangladesh.
My role is to work with the staff. So we have 200 Bangladeshi staff who are bringing, these animators bringing hope into the community. And I work with them to help them discover the truth that is in the Bible.
As an individual who may be apart from God and longs for a closer relationship, what really needs to happen is an understanding of what our humanity is and what relationships are. God didn't put us here to be by ourselves, to be totally independent. He put us here to be interdependent. And that simply means, how do we interact with each other so that our relationships with each other make for a better group than any one of us or any number of individuals together could have forged.
The beginning, it's quite difficult because there's no trust. They've not met us before. It's a country where relationships are really important. And they wonder, who's this foreign organization? They're Bengali faces who are meeting them, but it's still an unknown organization, unknown people. And so the biggest challenge is building trust and overcoming the fear, actually, that people have of NGOs.
I've been able to see, to go up to quite a few places with different NGOs. And the difference that I saw with Food for the Hungry, and the reason that we've continued our support with the Food for the Hungry and maybe curtailed it to others, is number one, they have an exit strategy. It's not promoting welfare. Number two, we didn't get in country and find food for the hungry signs everywhere. It was a very selfless job that they were doing. They weren't there to promote themselves by having banners up and cars with FH all over them. So to us, the difference was the way the people were responding. The people in country were really owning their lives. They weren't being dictated from an outside NGO as to what they should be doing, how they should be doing it. It was incredible to see, because the people in country really felt as if they had done all this work, and that's the way FH is working to really further the gospel. It's incredible.
This particular organization was on my radar because half the world that's impoverished, 50% of the world, is women. And the greatest gift in the world is that of a mother. And it's because of cultural barriers that women are impoverished. And I felt this compelling desire to help mothers of the world.
When I go into the villages, it's seeing women who used to be like this behind their sari, able to tell you what they are planning for the future, what changes have happened in their community. That's, I think, what brings me greatest joy.
You know, I'm sitting in a village and meeting with a farmer who was not previously able to provide for his family. And then he explains to me the hope that he has for the future and how he has been able to grow as a person in his relationship with God. But more than that, how he started a business, how he has a productive crop, how his kids are going to school, how his family has come together. And it's person-to-person transformation. And to see a life and to see a community completely different, it's an unbelievable experience. And I've seen it with my own eyes. It's amazing.